moderator. Probably you noticed that I'm very bad at football, but I think I'm rather good at the climate. I am also a school teacher, teaching geography and history and law and everything for my school pupils. And this morning I had a class, 11s, and I asked, could they do a connection for the football and the climate change and the steps they should take? They can definitely put, all these UN development goals, how to fight hunger and things like that, but how to combine football with, kind of good propaganda of this, they had no idea. So you've been doing brilliant job to put it together. I understand that the European Union, and since we are in a European house, this means this is important for European Union, because they never rent a place for events that are, useless. They do big things. So you are part of the big game here today. And the program we are going to discuss, or the project, is actually in different scales. It could be in a small village community, it could be in a great, countrywide, or even international, since football is the king of almost everything, right? If you talk football in your countries, you are a hero. In Latvia, sometimes you should talk in the winter time ice hockey as well, but of course, football is, always good to talk. So let's put it straight. So they had no idea. The good thing is that they understand that football is so huge power that it could be used. So some of us in Latvia already made some tests on this, and I think Anastasija is ready to report on how successful we were. You're a member of Latvian Football Federation board, but also, in a way, you are a member of something new for Latvia, because we were like never using big, huge power of a football for any kind of positive attitude or positive thinking. And we very much need positive things in this society, right? Especially now. So how positive football can be, Anastasija?
We will start this event, yeah?
Absolutely. And I'm sorry that even if you feel strange that we are not using microphone, well, we don't hear microphone, but we are using microphone.
We don't.
We will do, no, you please do it, because we will record it and you can pass it to your good friends. But also, before we do, Latvian Football Federation has its YouTube account, and if you want, you can use your phones, please, to pass this small news of this conference, so everyone can join in live. We are sending it live into YouTube stream of Latvian Football Federation, which is LFF. Yeah, that's right. Anastasija, please.
Yes, I would like to say good morning to everyone and welcome to Riga, especially on our Latvian holidays week from yesterday until Sunday. We will, not Sunday, Wednesday, next Wednesday, we will celebrate our national holidays, and you was a part of these holidays yesterday, mostly all of you. And it's a big pleasure to see you here. Today we celebrate your work and achievement. We are sharing ideas, we are sharing our experience in this project. I think the name of the project Future is very nice, because it needs to be a long-term project, and football, like we said before, it's a king, and we are sure. So football is a language that unites all of us and around all the world. So I would like to wish you a good time today and good time in Latvia. And let's go to start it.
Good, let's go. Oh, thanks, yes. You see, sharing is caring. Thanks. Good. Now, let's turn to this super science, but then let's be practical with our comments as well. Since I have, you see, wireless microphone, I can, run and pick your questions at any time. And let us be a little bit, nasty in a thing that, but how did you that and how did you that? Because it is also of sharing experiences, since all of you come from different, not only countries, but also levels of that initiative, how it could play in a small community, in a big community. Let's turn to very big community. It's University of Modena and Reggio Emilia. And I don't know if you're scared of us or something. You will come both of you. So it's much better if you do it two of you, huh? Oh, because it's football. You can always play the... you have to have two persons at least to start real training of the ball. Good. So congratulations for Professor Loris Vezzali and his colleague Giovanni Telesca. You've been doing a big job. So please, I'll share... Maybe take both microphones so you can...
So maybe before us talking, we show a video of the project. Do we have audio in the?
Yeah, we even have popcorn and cola.
Well, first of all, I'd really like to thank some people. First, Carlis and the Latvian Federation for leading this and for accepting to work together on this. For sure, Theodora and UEFA for the support, because for us it's very important, as was anticipated, to join, to merge football and environment is a challenge. And I believe this should be done by many institutions if we want that this arrives to people. And also, it was a pleasure to work with Hungary, Bulgaria, Lithuania, and Spain, showing that this is a European problem, this is a European issue, and football can say something about this. Now, if we think about the specific issue of climate change, we see that football is affected actually by climate change, but actually it also contributes to increase the impact on the environment. Now, actually, this project may have been based on these issues, on what football has to lose and what it does for climate change. But actually, we didn't care much about all of this, because this can be obvious. We are in football, we are working with football teams. Let's see what climate change matters to football teams. Actually, our approach is different, and indeed it made me think when he said how come football is relevant to climate change and environment. Our approach is that is not what is really important, what happens on the pitch. I mean, of course it is. UEFA has a lot of programs on this, and the federations to reduce the impact of the teams. But our approach, we are from a university, is educational. We want to use football to do something that goes beyond the field, to educate people for their life. I mean, generally, as we know, children are taught about climate change and everything in a place where they have to be, which is school. They go to school because they have to go to school. Maybe some kids like school, but still, for them, it's kind of a working environment. I mean, it's an environment where they have to be. But in football, in the teams, they want to be there. They like to be in the teams. They go there to have fun. So this means that football is relevant to them, is relevant to their life, is relevant if they want to be happy. So why not using this in a very practical way? Why not starting from something that they like and show them that the team, the identity that they like, that they appreciate, that they value, is also very interested in climate change, and sport people that play football, can do more than normal people. Why? Because they unite together to provide a contribution to the to climate change. So actually, we believe football can have a great educational function because it merges people together. People believe in what they do. And if football, and here we have main institutions, we have UEFA and the Federation, which are the main actor of football. If a kid sees that this big organization believe and train them because they are actually trained on environment, maybe this is important. Another thing that football can do that we will see. Sometimes kids in the programs are taught of not wasting, recycling, and so on. But do they actually know why they should do that? Yeah, for the environment. But so what? If I recycle a bottle, if I do something for the environment, why this is relevant? And especially, yeah, I can recycle a bottle, but the world will be the same after I recycle a bottle. I will not change the world. We picked on these two aspects to create our methodology. So first, providing kids, while having fun, while playing football, with a real reason why they should be interested in the environment. So the first point was making them understand why it's important and why their contribution is important. We'll see how we tried to do that. And we also worked a lot on self-efficacy, meaning that, many people maybe don't engage in sustainable behaviors because they say, anyway, this will not change anything. We worked on that. We worked on making children aware that actually they mean something and they will actually change something, maybe a little bit. Maybe they will save a tree, three trees in the environment, but still, it's a practical contribution that they can see and work on. So actually, I already mentioned basically the main aims of the project. Now, formally, these are the aims. But actually, I already explained them. We know that football is relevant for children. And football, we often say, it has several values. Respect for the others, collaboration, cooperation, social equality. That means that children that play football believe that they have some values because they are sport kids, they are in sport teams. We use them to create a social identity and to create a consistency. If you have respect for the others and you believe in this is part of your identity, then maybe you should also care for the environment, because this is how sport people show also respect for the others. So basically, we strengthen their social identity as a sport people, and we use that to make them more focused on what was our aim in this project. That means caring for the environment. So we, of course, raised awareness. As I said, we raise self-efficacy, so we create a few things like an app to increase their perception that actually also their small action will be something for the environment. And we move them on understanding which kind of behaviors they could act. And I'm not sure we explained this in this project. Especially we focused a lot on the coach. That was the biggest challenge of all, focusing on the coach. Because as we said at the beginning, the school teaches children about the environment, because that is what the school should do, should educate children. But the point is, should football educate the children to something. Actually, football should teach children to play football. So the point of using football to educate people is not so trivial, it's not so obvious, but this is what we are trying to do in a set of collaboration with the present federations and others, is to work with coaches and making them real educators. Because one coach, that was a challenge of the project that we said several times, can say, yeah, why should I care? Why should I learn on how to care about football, on how to care about the environment? I'm not here for that. I'm here for making so that children can play football. On one side, that's true. On the other, we believe it's not, because we believe that if we give our kids to coaches, is to educate them, yeah, to play football, but actually they are real educational agencies. So a main point was to create educational programs where the coach really becomes an educator, educating to life challenges, like, for example, respect for the environment. And to do that, we did an app, we did a methodology, and as you will see, of course, we are doing a conference, so we'll say it was successful, and actually it was. But this remains the biggest challenge of this and future action, to make the coaches understand that they are not there just to play football, but they are there because they can have a great impact on our children, because they go there because they want to have fun, and this is the best environment to educate them to something. So what you will see, what I said, was translated in a program for coaches so that they can teach children what to do. And that. So these are the main aim of the projects. This time.
Okay, I can go. I don't know if you want to say something about the partners.
Yeah, no, about the partners, I anticipated the federation. It was the Latvian Federation, the Hungarian, Bulgarian, and Lithuanian, and we also have a very valuable, incredible teams from Spain. That is Dragones de Latvia, plus there was UNIMORE, and for Modena, that is a training association, and UEFA, the supporting institution. I am very proud and happy of this partnership, and really, I'm really grateful to Federation and UEFA, because this idea that the coach can educate people and we can do something for the environment becomes true, to the point that very important organizations believe and show that is true, because the federation committed, they did the methodology, they published on their social media, meaning that people all around their nation saw their commitment to it. And I think this is probably the biggest achievement of the project, showing that Federation and UEFA care about this topic and want to educate children to this topic.
Okay, good morning. My name is Giovanni Telesca. I work with Loris as a researcher in social psychology at the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia. And what I will do today is presenting you more about the results of the project and speak about the project more in detail, starting from the timeline that we follow and the structure of the project, so the things that we have done during this 18 months. Because the project started in June 2024, we are in November 2025, and as the partner knows, we have done quite a lot of things during these months. We started with our research. Since we are researchers at university, we thought that the best way to approach this topic was, first of all, try to understand it from a research perspective. Then we worked on a methodology that, as you will see, is basically the set of activities that we created to train coaches to train kids about sustainability, and we tested it, and we ended up having an online tool and guidelines, of which I will say more in a few moments, and an online course, up until we are now here in November 2025 with the final conference. And let's go into the topic. So when it comes to the research, we did something that is not you can think probably a classical research is done. Like, so we didn't ask people what do you think about sustainability and so on. We went already in the literature of social psychology that is quite extensive when it comes to the topic of collective action related to climate change. And we started from there. So we started to see which were the more important models already explaining how people react to climate change. And we started to see whether there were already some studies, some previous tested intervention that already tried to test these theories on children and children behavior. And there were some that are reported in our research. We also wanted to understand a bit better which is the relationship with football and sustainability. So we went through a lot of studies that actually studied how football is impacted by climate change and how football is reacting to climate change. And we focused on the main European stakeholder when it comes to football, that is UEFA. That is also our supporting institution. And we went through the Strength Through Unity sustainability strategy of UEFA and started to see how they are implementing this strategy to change football in the long term to address issues, not only climate change, but issues related to climate change, because this was the interest of our specific project. But for instance, also other issues such as social inclusion are in this strategy, and we are working on those issues in other projects as well. And we focused on 4 different, I would say, goals that UEFA has, that are circular economy, and I'm very, climate and advocacy, even sustainability and infrastructure sustainability. And starting from this, we asked our partners, what are you doing about it? So we asked them to collect at least 2 best practices that they had on these goals, especially if it was possible involving children. So we already knew since the beginning of the project, from the beginning of the project, what they were doing already for the kids. So for instance, on the top of my memory, I remember that in Hungary, for instance, they recycled you call it the banners to create bags for the kids, or in Spain there are a lot of initiatives that Dragones de Lavapiés did already for the kids related to sustainability, for instance, by distributing solid shampoo instead of plastic bottles with liquid shampoo in it and stuff like that. So we knew already what was the starting point to try and draft some activities that could have been easier for the coach to do when it comes to teaching sustainability to the players. And starting from the results of this research, we developed this methodology that is composed by 2 parts. First part are the so-called on-field activities, that are activities thought for the coaches and the players to learn about climate change and sustainability while playing football, and focusing on 4 core variables of social psychology that Loris already mentioned, that are environmental knowledge, group identity, collective efficacy, and sustainable social norms. So for instance, you can see this nice scheme. This is for one of the 4 activities that is aimed at teaching kids how climate change works. So how CO2 emission change the climate. So the red cones that you see are aimed at representing climate emissions, while the green cones that you see on the goal line, those are all actions that people can do in order to tackle climate emission. And kids were aimed to do this course in order to eat the green cones, so that the red ones were removed from the circle at the side of the field. And that was a way that we thought it was effective for kids to learn how it works, to basically do a very simple mathematic operation that is subtracting CO2 by doing something good for the environment, or adding CO2 when for instance, the goal was missed, and so on.
So basically the logic is that we don't make classes to children, but we ask children to play what they like, imbuing, of course, the game with the message that we want to transmit. So maybe they remember this better because they are having fun while we teach what you have to teach.
And the activities were done in a way that were following a structure, going from creating a group identity, so teaching the kids that together they can do things, up until arriving to creating sustainable habits, sustainable social norms, and knowing about the issue of climate change, so that they had somewhat a structured path that they could follow in order to understand how they can impact climate change. Once all these activities were done, and while we're developing the methodology, we also had the idea to create an intervention for kids to learn and understand how to build positive norms in the long term. And so what we did was to settle with a company in Modena and Reggio Emilia that does implementation of program for local football teams when it comes to sustainability, and develop a web app that we called Future Footprint Calculator, which is very similar. I don't know whether it's very similar or not, but it's very similar in the idea about the footprint calculator that UEFA has already developed for professional teams. But it has some feature that we thought were better for kids and to present this topic to kids. So for instance, what this software does is to calculate the emissions that a team makes and tell the team, for instance, how many trees have saved in 1 year while doing something for climate change, for instance, by changing their behavior, like having shorter showers and so on. And what we did, apart from the app, is to couple this app with an intervention program in which we asked the coach to set some goals, like bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, and see how they were changing their emissions, how this was changing in the long term, coupled with the idea that they had to set these goals together with the kids, because we really believed, and we do believe, in a bottom-up approach. So we don't want the coach to go there in the field and say, we have to do this, but we want the kids to say, we have to do this because it is important for us as a group. And so that was the idea of the app.
I would, sorry, I would just focus on a couple of points that Giovanni mentioned. First, kids have to decide how to improve. So it was not just saying we are consuming this quota of CO2 or so on. The point is that they were provided with behaviors that they could change, and with the app they could actually see what they changed. It's talking about self-efficacy. Second, often we think about the environment in individual terms. What I can do for the environment. The app, in a way, was a psychological trick to make them think about this in a collective way, as a team, not me as Loris, Giovanni, Alice, but we as a team, what we can do, what our team can contribute. So it was to change the perception of working for the environment from the individual to the group. Can we, as a collective, as a sport team, really provide something that is effective? So this was the idea behind the app.
Of course, once we had these tools, they were good for us in a vacuum, but we wanted to know how coaches and kids reacted to this. So the next phase of the project was actually testing the methodology. And what we did was to first train the federations. So we went to our partners and say, this is how it works. And now you have the possibility to teach this to your coaches within your country. And they had very great results in teaching more than 90 coaches in 5 different countries about the methodology and how to implement these activities in their teams. They were also responsible to search for the teams where to implement these activities, and 44 teams in 5 countries reacted to this and said, okay, we will test it. This means that more than 700 young players aged between 6 and 11 years old, of which more than 1/4 are female players, actually tested the activities that we thought for them. And these are some pictures of the activities taken by the partners. So for instance, I think there's Spain, Hungary, and Bulgaria, if I'm not wrong. And you can see that basically they were playing football, but still discussing and thinking about sustainability during this. After the testing of the methodology, of course, we collected some feedbacks. We asked the partners what you think is good, what you think it needs to be changed, how much is important for the kids, and how fun it was for them. And we collected, I would say, mostly positive feedbacks when it comes to the on-field activities, because this was the part that probably was very good for the kids. They were having a lot of fun playing this and doing something different on the field, probably. The app was a bit more difficult. We know that, we acknowledge that, and we are working to do improvement on the app. And after receiving all the feedbacks, what we did was to resit and create final guidelines when it comes to the use of the methodology that were put in a final online tool that is on the website of the project, in which we basically give the coaches a way to work around what we have prepared and the materials that we have prepared for them. I know probably the image is not great quality, but in order to explain a bit better, what we have is that, of course, we start from knowledge, right? So we ask them, do you know already about sustainability and football? If not, do you want to improve? And then they have access to the future research report, so we have information for them. Apart from that, then they go to the methodology. And in the methodology, they have two options. So first of all, they can follow an online course, of which I will talk in a moment. And they can also implement the methodology by accessing the full methodology, so all the guidelines, annexes or not, or only some of the activities that they think are the ones that they are more interested in, and the app as well. So they have access to this in a more structured way that can understand their way around the materials that they have at their disposal. Apart from that, we wanted to leave a lasting impact for the project, so apart from the end of the project. And at UNIMORE, and I don't know, Loris, if you want to say more about the Sport Academy, we have this very interesting platform, and probably...
Yeah, we hope it's an interesting platform. Basically, for a European project, as far as I know, if you do a course which is valuable for the European Union because it's about training, it's about education, so it's something that can last, you should ensure that the course is available at least, I guess, 5 years after the project ending. With this platform that we created, we are not committed to simply 5 years. Basically, we created a platform where we include all courses from EU projects that we follow, about several topics like environment, like we did. They are all courses for coaches or educators, because these things can also be done in the school. But there are several other topics like bullying, like gender equality, violence against women, radicalization, social inclusion. So it's a platform where a coach, an educator, a citizen can go and find how to use football for social purposes. It can be the environment, it can be something different. And I was saying about the years, this isn't a deadline. So as long as there is UNIMORE, at least, that there will be this platform. So basically our courses will last, 10, 15, 20 years. So basically our hope is that this platform will become, now we added future, and the end of the year we'll add 2 other courses, will become, we hope, a point of reference for people that really want to use football for educational purposes for several things. And so we are pretty happy, as understood, of this outcome that we had.
Yeah. And when it comes to future courses, it's a very short, I think it lasts 1 hour and a half or even less probably. And it's 6 videos, starting from the introduction on the project and going more in detail on the methodology, on football and climate change, and the activities that we propose to the coaches.
Hey Giovanni, sorry, about the course, not only this, but all the courses, actually, these are in English with translations in all the languages. In case, for instance, a further federation wants to join, for example, is interested in environment, even after the project finishes, we can easily add, of course, checking with them the subtitles, so we can easily disseminate these to other countries, to other languages that were not included.
And finally, before going to the end of this presentation, I also want to mention what we have done in terms of showcasing the project to the world, because I think a great work has been done by all the partners on this. And we had a huge presence on social media during these months with more than 65 posts done, and consider that the project is not finished yet, so we will have some posting to do before the end of the month as well. We involved role models from federation, like players or social media influencers that love football and play football on street. For instance, I have the example of Spain. Trying to pass the message about sustainability and the importance of sustainability in football. So to pass this message also over the teams that were participating in the project to a huge and bigger amount of people following the channel of the federations. And we also have one promotional video that is different from the video that you see today, because this is the final video of the project, but we have a very nice promotional video that shows to the world how the project is fought and which are the steps that we are taking to make greener football. And we also created 2 newsletters. One is already been sent out. The other one will be ready short after the conference with the final results of the project. And yeah, that's it based on the project. I think this is a project done for kids and by the kids, because we wouldn't be able to present these results if it wasn't for the young athletes that took part in the activities. So I think a great way to conclude this presentation is by giving you a message from the kids that participated in the project.
Sustainable.
Oh, wait.
1, 2, 3.
And that's it from us.
Okay, questions, observations, abstentions, in favor, against, voted. Good project, seems like, huh? You enjoyed it yourself as well?
We had a lot of fun, yes.
Yeah, of course. Football is to have fun. Now, being serious, there are 17 UN development goals. Climate is above it, but there are different, let's say, topics to cover. You know, talk to people in this sincere manner, in this bottom-up approach, as you said. Now, football could be misused in this sense that, you know, all UN secretaries general could approach and tell, listen, you did a great learning by doing approach. Why don't you, you know, fight the hunger now? Why don't you fight the mortality rates of African ladies during the birth? It's a terrible situation, you know. And then, at which point, we will lose the whole game. That is football, you know, not the propaganda machine, not the advertisement industry for a whole bunch of the world problems. I mean, as a scientist, could you please give your thoughts, and what kind is your scientific background, just to understand? Political scientist, social scientist?
Psychologist for both.
Aha, good. Okay, then you're right ones to ask it. So go for philosophy now.
I can go. Well, I mean, there is one thing that Loris said at the beginning. I mean, I agree with the idea that football is most of all a sport, and so it shouldn't be the main core of tackling society issues. But 2 things, in my opinion, are important to realize. First of all, that we work with kids, and they approach football as a sport, but also as an educational agency. So they are there to learn, to be better individual. I mean, football does this for fair play, does this to end racism, does that for sustainability. Like if you look at Champions League match these days, you will find that UEFA has a lot of advertisement about respecting the environment, because the impact of football on people's life is very real. And it's real when it comes to their team winning a competition, because they are very happy about it. But it's also real when they go to the stadium and they can do a difference just by not polluting the environment and leaving their cups on the ground floor of the stadium, like changing their behavior. So I think it is true that football is a sport and people are interested in football because that is a sport, but it doesn't matter in the sense that, it matters in a sense that it's still real life. And so if in real life we can tackle real life issues with sport, I think that's a great coupling, right? So
I don't think there is a risk of losing football. Well, first, we often say sport has some values. It has respect, cooperation. Who says? I mean, you are in a team. You are taught to play with the other, but there are the opponents. There are, some kid can pick up the respect value, for example. Others may not. It's all implicit. So talking about societal challenges in the teams means that you make explicit these values to kids, and you make explicit to them, and you raise awareness on the role of sport. And I think that, as you say, there are maybe different ways how we can perceive football. You can go and play football and say, I play football, I have fun, I don't care about anything more because I'm playing. Or you can play football like for this project, maybe it's just an example, and this means that I'm a person of sport. That means that I care for the other because you were educated in this specific setting to do that. So as everything, you can choose which aspect to care for. Our choice is that we choose to try to educate people through football. And I think this can empower football, not lose the game.
Sure. That's we are not to lose, we are to win-win.
Exactly. Correct.
Good. Now,
thanks.
You think you come to the north and we have no questions. No, this is in Finland. In Latvia, we do have questions. Okay, many questions from Latvians, from Bulgarians, from friends in south of Europe. I still have one, and it is about believing into, creating a platform is great, which is, we are, grateful for what you did, definitely. But then you have to believe into what you are doing. So now the football coaches and everyone in this industry comes for motivate people for football, right? The one who works with the kids in the field, he has to be evangelist of what? Of climate change? He has to be how to really push, invite, what kind of language you would now choose, him to make a choice to go for this 5-year accessibility for that program, to really learn himself and then to become a deep believer that this is the way. Because, people can play football not only with the ball, they can play with the, empty bottle of the beer. They sometimes do in Latvia, when they don't, the hooligans are doing this with a, beer bottle, not football. So it's not about hooligans, it's more about how does real football players and coaches and all the rest of persons be evangelists on this? Because again, there is this, if we are not losing the football at the one point. Sorry for returning to the kind of same point still.
Okay, the first part of the answer is that I don't know. No, that's difficult to... Yeah, because you're right. I I think, and here is what I meant when I said that is very important, is the main thing, the presence of UEFA and the federation. Who says what football, what sport can do? I mean, who gives the rules? Who gives the priorities? Is the main institution within which you work or you play. So the point, for example, role model and everything and all that UEFA and federation do is to show that first, the football world, because this is the football world in Europe, care about it. You play football. It's up to the institutions to transmit that you should also care about some topics. Can be the environment, it can be another. So first is this. Second, it's true. One may say why we should do that. But isn't it the same at school? I mean, at school, you have the math teacher. Yeah. And the math teacher says, I care about maths. I'm not here to educate.
He's crazy about mathematics only.
You
He
said
hates geography.
you said that. I will not. But the point is that even the math teacher can say, I care about teaching numbers. I don't care about education, about that the kids don't bully. Should the teacher care about education or only the subject? Isn't it the same with the coach? I mean, you are there with the people. You are there with an educational function. Okay, you may not care, but you are not fulfilling, in my opinion, your educational function. Educational function is not just teaching 3 + 2 = 5. It's growing children to something. And I think sports should do that. So that's the idea. How? We'll see.
To make an example of this, right? If you are educating a child, you're probably very attentive in a way that he or she doesn't say bad words when they are kids, like they don't say that. And so you're putting a lot of effort as a family member to educate the child in a certain way. If you go to a educational agency like the football team and you come with the idea that the football coach has taught the kids how to say bad words, you wouldn't be happy about it, right? So since this is a real issue for families, this is a real issue for many people in Europe about what happens with climate change, I think coupling with what Loris said, that families first will at some point understand that, and I think they do in many cases, that football is first of all an educational agency like any sport for what matters. Like if you go to play volley or ice hockey, like ice hockey I think is even a better example, because at some point if we go in a very polluted and with a very changed climate, we probably won't have any ice to play ice hockey on, right? So it's kind of an issue for that matter. So I think this is the point, like to really insist on the fact that kids are educated in these facilities where they play football, and football coaches are educators. Of course, what you said, because I think you were also mentioning the behavior of the big people, like the footballers and stuff like that, and we realized that is a difficult path. So what we were in Madrid earlier this year, and we went to one of the 2 famous clubs of Madrid. I won't say which one because probably it's better to not make publicity.
Both of them are very good.
Yeah, exactly. And we discussed with the sustainability officer of this club, and one of the questions that was raised, I think by me or also by somebody else, was exactly how do you plan to bring the footballers on when it comes to sustainability issues. And that I realize, and probably UEFA can tell and Federation can tell, that this is the more difficult part of the way, because they are the visible people, like they are the one that people imitate. But coaches are also ex-players, and probably those players will become coaches at some point. So by educating coaches in the long term, you end up also educating them to educate children in a better way. And it's, of course, something that it would be nice to have today in a snap of finger. It takes time. Social influence and education takes always time. But we're thinking, like, starting from somewhere, we end up at some point to the point that we want, where we want to arrive. Otherwise, if we never start, we will never be at the point in which we have to arrive.
The starting day is today, of course. Good. Now, my only question, and you can do no answer if you don't want to, is why we shouldn't, approach Donald Trump to play football instead of golf, because he's playing just a golf. He's single, sometimes with a Finnish president, sometimes with no friends in the field, and this is why he is signing out from Paris climate agreement, right? I guess it makes like golf is bad and football is good, isn't it? Or something like this. Well, anyway, let's play both. Let's play everything. Let's do a sustainable attitude to the world. And yeah, I don't know how sustainable will be our lunch, but the coffee break is never for free. Now it's networking coffee break. So you may not talk to your good colleague or friend whom you came together. You should always talk to someone you don't know, you want to learn, only foreign languages allowed, and please exchange with your experiences. On this warm-up party with a coffee, we will then celebrate our discussion here and organize, exchange of small, nice examples, how it works, will work, or worked already. Good? Agreed? Yeah, go for it. Okay, let's do it until 11:30 as agreed, yeah? More or less, yeah? So, well, anyway, we will be here. And technically, the toilet is here. If you want to smoke outside, please measure 10 steps from the entrance. It's a Latvian law. Yes. Ooh. here we are. We are so precise today, you know. We are the winners from that perspective already. And we are so precise as the kings. Should we just notice that there are many viewers back there? So there are many students also who are involved directly, who wants to learn what you learned already from your life experience, but also how we can, you know, do a combination just to say hello to these friends online in many countries around. You don't believe. I mean, we in Latvia, we are used to being this small, you know, community, everyone knowing everyone, but football is a big community, right? So how to turn into a superpower to really save the world? Huh? Oh, what an easy question for you guys. Now, let me introduce you, and I start with ladies. So Theodora is a Public Affairs and National Association Strategic Development for UEFA. Wow, big boss. You must be very serious, but you still smile. You're normal. Okay, good.
Taking like that seriously. Thank God, because otherwise it would be complicated
of
for
course.
me with this
We are
role
going
in
to
UEFA.
spend, you know, in a lovely conversation, not, you know, boom, boom, boom.
Very good.
We are in Latvia. Huh? We never do this too serious. Now, Anastasija, everyone knows Anastasija. She was the main speaker today in the opening. So Anastasija is still a board member of Latvian Football Federation, right? Nice examples, hoping to have from you. And Miss Dabarska-Paneva, you are representative, or actually head of Sustainable Strategic Management Department for Bulgarian Football Union. So who is going to win, Latvians or Bulgarians? That's a big question on this race. Better achievements in this climate race.
Let's hope that in terms of sustainability, we all join our efforts and win
Oh, so it's like win-win again. Good, thank you. Everyone knows, Professor. Everyone knows you. We've been listening for your experience, and thank you for your insert. So. For those who just joins, Professor Loris Vezzali works for University of Modena, and you're not a super football player, you're a super football player in your university. Okay, which is important. Without funds, there is no fun for football. And who else? Edgars Pukinskis, he's a big boss. He's Deputy State Secretary for Sports and Youth of Ministry of Education, Science of Latvia. Big boss, huh? No? But listen, but you are at least tallest boss from all bosses here, which is okay. In Latvia we have tall persons as well. And my good colleague Ilvars Kosinkevič, he is a social and environmental sustainability manager for Latvian Football Federation, right? So you will share nice examples, but we will start from the big bosses from UEFA. So how important it is not to lose the football in this big game of climate change? I mean, every has the same goals, everyone involved, or they are just, I'm sorry to say, misusing football for a certain propaganda. You know, to use a football for a greenwash, is it good or dangerous for football or for the world?
Obviously, we all know that greenwashing is not something that we would want to have advertised or as an image for big sport governing bodies as UEFA. So indeed there is a delicate story to be told here. And to be honest, it's quite difficult to have football as a very important part of this social sustainability actors, because football, as Loris, I remember, mentioned previously, is first and foremost made for playing football and for entertainment industry, for elite sports. So all this kind of, you know, big topics that everybody has in mind when we say football. But then as UEFA is the European governing body of football, so in Europe, we understood that we have not only the flexibility and autonomy to create and to manage our sport, but also the responsibility to do something good for the society, right? Because as we all know, and it has been proven so many times, football is indeed a vector of, you know, inclusion, education, employment, growth, sustainable growth. So we have this duty. We realize that we have the duty to use football for something better. So not only to let's say revolutionize our sector from the inside, like lowering the carbon footprint of big football matches, stadium waste, the way people travel, fans, etc., but also to use the power of football, as in the case of this very nice project that we're talking about today, to create something different in the society. So indeed, we are doing the best we can in order to create this on these both sides via our, for instance, the UEFA sustainability strategy that was already discussed previously, which is dedicated to our member federations, but not only to the entire football family, with guidelines and ways of working on these aspects. This is, let's say, the one that is very much in line with what has been discussing here, but also in terms of, and now I'm going to enter into something very political, which is the European sport model, which is something that we and all the member federations protect, is this pyramid, the solidarity pyramid of organized sport, in our case football, in which you have the governing body in the top, and then you have the grassroots at the basis. So we need to help and support this grassroots, including the communities, to grow in a sustainable way. So that means part of this pyramidal model of football, we actually reinvest all the profits from our men's and women's club competitions into developing this grassroots area. So it's, to our knowledge, UEFA actually invests the most solidarity payments for the development of football at the grassroots level, but also for developing youth football and other sustainability program via our hat-trick programs, our member federations, but also our clubs. So this is something very importantly to be done. From my knowledge, in this 2024-2027 period, UEFA will invest approximately 2.4 billion euros from the profits into this. So obviously, there are lots of topics, but sustainability and education is very important.
Why you are investing? Because this, if it's a kind of greenwash, or at least
no, it's not. It's not a greenwash.
But my question is rather Latvian. We think in Latvia, since we are a new member country, that in many aspects, if, for example, European Union wants to get something, and this is European Union's project here, they've been investing money into this. They want to change our attitude for achieving Green Deal, for actually being the best showcase for, global climate change issues, to show the way for Chinese, for Americans, for everyone. We want to be the greenest possible. Sure. So now, why do you invest if this is a kind of European project? Why shouldn't, European Union comes with these many millions, billions, and invests into football in a sense of buying these grassroots mind change. Many people turn to football, and finally they become climate activists.
So there are two different things here, actually. What the EU is investing in various sectors, including sport. We're not talking about football when we talk with European Commission. We talk about sport. Yeah. And what UEFA is investing in our own sport, which is football. So there are two different investments, which at some point are very much complementary, because even if, for instance, UEFA invests this money into football, it's never enough to support all the changes that we would want to make in Europe, meaning not only European Union, we have 55 member associations, so across the EU, but also beyond the EU. It's never enough to support all this development that we would want to do specifically at grassroots level. So this is why we need, and this is what I'm partly responsible of, helping our member associations also unlock and understand how EU funding works for sport, for these types of projects. This is just one example, in order to complement what UEFA can support and what UEFA can bring to the national associations in terms of, for instance, youth education, sustainability, but complement also with other funding sources such as the EU, which is public, obviously, to precisely bring via football a more sustainable development in the community, so to bring good, so to speak. So it's not about greenwashing, it's really about literally supporting precisely what you have seen here, children, communities, and we're trying to do our best to complement what you already give for this with EU funding streams whenever possible.
Yeah, so let's see how it works in Bulgaria. So how good it is, how, many people are getting involved when you talk, not football. I mean, maybe the parent, I came with my two sons to football. Why you're talking climate to me? We want to, play the game. Where is the ball? Before you give me a ball, you start this kind of, in a way, propaganda. Where should I put my plastic bottle or something like this? I mean, why? I came to play football. That's it.
But actually, football is more than a game.
Okay, true. So you can turn it in a kind of a game?
Well, this is the name of our sustainability strategy, more than a game, because football, it has such a variety of stakeholders.
Yeah.
It has such a great impact, and also it has such a great responsibility to promote positive values and positive change. And we are very blessed, all of us working in football, actually to have this reach and to be able to reach people of all genders, all ages, all cultures, all mentalities, and through football, in a fun and engaging way, to get them to think about tomorrow, and in this case about the planet. Because at the end of the day, the planet is not ours. We took it from our children
Actually,
for a
from
short
future,
period
For a
time.
very short period, yes. For a very short. Now, technically, I hear that even though this project now is focusing on the kids mainly, but in Bulgaria, can I conclude that it somehow involves whole society? At least for me, at least in Latvia, we have this focus on the young children. So in 20 years, if we'll teach them to be climate friendly in every aspect, in football, in school, in family, everywhere, then the society will grow, evolution will happen. How does this include other generations in Bulgaria? They are good football fans for sure, but how they turn into good daddies and mummies who teaches kids, but also behaves themselves climately friendly.
Well, you see, your way of thinking
Yes.
is very close to what we believe as well, that, children are the future, and actually it's the easiest with children to change their thinking, mentality, habits to something positive. And it takes the shortest period of time, for sure. But at the end of the day, it's not only children that will transmit the message to their fellow classmates or team members. It's actually children interacting, and here it's, a question. I hope that the answer is such that whether it's the coach or the teacher has this way of thinking that this child is my responsibility now, it's my child, and me as a mommy, actually, I often, to be honest, learn from my child, because they act in a very simple way, very straightforward way, and it kind of shames us when they tell us, oh, don't do this, it's bad. I think this effect, at least with me, and as far as I know with people around me, shaming is never good, but when you hear it from your kid, who's supposedly you're supposed to teach it, him or her, then it goes to another level.
For you, it is even more important than coach is talking to your kid, but then kid goes home and he's starting to shame daddy, mommy, grandfather, sister. The small sister is not doing proper garbaging, not garbaging, how you call it, the recycling thing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, it works.
It actually does work.
Okay, I go to football myself because I was doing this shaming without football before in my family, and it never worked, Now I have to become a coach.
But wait, now I think the whole society is a lot more tolerant and a lot more open-minded.
Of course it is.
Back in our age, it was you're the kid, you do what you're supposed to do, and that's it. Now children have a voice, and through projects like Future, we do give them the voice and empower them to themselves act as role models.
Let's turn to role models, and maybe you can explain, TikTok is probably, I mean, you can join by explaining this, because both of you work exactly for this direction. Now, there is a TikTok. The king of everything is TikTok. Sorry, I know the king of the sport is football, but the big competitor is TikTok as well. Now, TikTok is something, you see for how many? 4 seconds? And if it's not interesting, the coach, you can see for much longer. So how to turn coach into something that is not his role up until now. Now we teach coach to become a superhero who is doing good thing for your own skills for the football, but then also for climate, and then also for this, and then, and this whole comes in the same amount of the time, which is what, 1 hour? Not more than 2 hours per week, right? More or less for a usual kid. So how really to use that very moment, which is not long. We still came there to you know, play the football first, and then all the secondary chances. How you do it in Latvia?
I think education is a fundament, and good example is a fundament. For instance, when I started my role in Football Federation last year, and UEFA published this new strategy, sustainability strategy, circular economy and climate advocacy and event sustainability and infrastructure sustainability, then the Football Federation have to come with a good example. I started with data. I wanted to understand what is happening in a football society in this point of view, in sustainability point of view. We can talk as federation good examples, say we have to do things like this or that, but our organization have to be like a good example. So we started to sort waste in every cabinet in our office. So every person who came in our football federation can see this topic is very important. And of course, through this data, we have to educate coaches. Yes. Of course, the main topic for them is to teach the football game. But still, if you are involving interesting games into the football process, for instance, let's sort the waste. There's a lot of corners. We have like just 1 minute time, and we have to gather all these corners together. Yes, and after that you explain the main topic. After that, for instance, training session, you can leave all these cones and what is happening in nature, etc. I guess it won't be a good thing. So if we are gathering all these things together and, for instance, use second time, like give a second life for these cones or balls or boots in football, in football equipment. So if coach are educated and enthusiastic in a training session explains for children, I think they will follow.
And how to deal with this if the coach is there? I mean, he also became a coach for football, not really because of, you know, being evangelist for climate change. He wanted to play the football, right? And you want him to do a kind of different job, and you are not paying for this.
You know, it is, I think, already a more different situation because coach, what is coach? He's not only the leader of football. He also have to be the leader as a personality. Yeah. So I think most of coaches understand this because I'm sorry, if you are having a training session as a coach and after the training session you are going around the corner and smoking, what kind of personality, what kind of example are you giving to the kids? And it's the same with sustainability. For instance, what we are doing in Latvian FA. You know, football boots, yes? You are playing and using your boots, and if you are a young children for just few months, you are bigger. Oh. And still...
You know it, huh?
Still
How
young.
many kids play football in your family?
4.
Oh, crazy. Okay, you can do internal circular economy.
Yes,
but
and
if
you understand, if you just waste it out, or it is still new boots, and you can give for another player.
Of course, sure.
Yes. So we also using this in Football Federation. We are gathering still new boots and giving for other people in regions and new
what
kids.
What about Adidas and Nike? What about the industry? You know, they want to sell new boots, and if you are, you know, sharing, then you do good thing for climate, but not for their business. You know, sustainability for the businessmen.
If we meet Nike and Adidas, they still are very motivated in sustainability as well. So they understand very well this process. Still,
So
these
you
boots
think
in
they
one
can
day will
promote
be old.
themselves? Please buy our boots. You will share them this, with 4 more kids.
They
in a
won't
row.
promote this, but we as a football society have to do this.
We
Yes?
have to, yes,
have to
absolutely.
do
I'm
this,
just
yeah.
thinking if
Yeah.
there are powers that will not agree with us, that they have a kind of different interests.
It's always, yeah. It's the same as sorting waste, yeah. It's always more easy, for instance, after the big football
yeah.
game, just push it out, yeah. But much more smarter, more sustainability is to sort it, and this is what football family do right now. yeah.
Anastasija, I don't know if you've been in a normal game, not in VIP corner, because I'm guess that in VIP corner there is a possibility to let's take this garbage example, okay? The sorting waste. Now, how to turn what happens on a field is visible to everyone. I mean, during the game, we definitely focus our attention. But the big grassroots you've been talking about and the effect we want to get is in tribunes for, normal people. At what stage we will be able to use a football to promote, for ordinary people who are ready to pay money to enter the football game, if they will be happy that you use their money for promoting and disturbing them with different things? Again, the same question. They came for a football. You start to communicate climate.
In my opinion, we need to start from coach. I think that coach is the first level we need to start. We need to implement this project in our education session. And to speak with coaches, I fully agree with Ilvar that coach is not only leader in football. It's like a big man, the person who is respected by our kids, and maybe this is the only, not only, but the first person who is mostly respected in kids' life, and that's why he need to bring more than only these 90 minutes in field. That's why I think that we need to speak a lot with coach and educate them. Then will come turn of kids, then parents, and of course time. Only time will show the result that we are now investment.
Parallelly to you,
yes,
there is a big conference in Amazon River in Brazil. The big heads of states, instead of you are talking about real life. They are talking about real temperature. Now we are here on 1.5. Actually, we are, using this planet too intensively, and this goes more or less 4.5 in next 10, maybe 20 years. Now, football could solve this or not?
of course, because it's
How?
one of influential sports in the world, the most popular sports. And for example, in one game of Real Madrid, it's 80,000 persons who you can reach with correct message.
Okay.
The
So
way-
what do you think could be the real temperature if everyone plays football but also plays this kind
But
of
in
climately?
any case,
friendly?
football gives us some information that we eat, not understanding this.
Yeah.
This is some technologies influence on our mind. I don't know how to say what need to do players in the big stadiums, how to influence me, but in any case, I am sure that it's done. But for example, maybe it's not good example, but for example, in
every example
Spain,
works here
in the
today.
Spain Championship, no alcohol in the stadium.
Yeah,
So
logical.
people is not very happy.
Yeah,
I
at
am
the
sure.
beginning.
At the beginning. But then they know what to wait.
Yeah.
And they are coming on the football and not thinking about it. That's why we can implement something with environmental issues.
In United States of America, they even don't try to talk to people that they should grab garbage and put in just one single waste bin, which is wrong. You should separate it instead. They think that it is okay to take, big this super washer and to wash everything together. So there is a pleasant life for those who comes to the stadium. They drink beer, they eat some snacks, and they football. Okay, for them it's rugby more, but whatever. Now, they even use this because it's about comfort. We shouldn't approach people where there is no comfort. So where can we lose at one point, you know? Football is a good way to communicate with people, but maybe football can lose if we start to talk different language.
I think that we need to use this big influence of football in any case.
And the big thing
And
is
to change
the politicians will come to you
mind.
and say, why don't you use it for my political party? I mean, how many times, for what kind of topics we can use football, the big good influence of the football, for solving all problems we have on this universe? All 8 billion people can, you know, in 10 years they will be 10 billion people.
So we need to think about
Okay.
future.
I'm so happy with your positivism. I'm like, good. No, take the microphone, take the microphone. Take the microphone, please. And turn it into this catastrophe that sometimes when the government decides on a financial part of it, then government sees no reason to invest into sports because the only unique superheroes are the ones who goes for Olympic Games. Then everyone is, you know, maybe for ice hockey, maybe for football, but only, you know, fans should see the Latvian flag among all the other flags. Can football play a different role into that government sees that investment into, for example, sports at large, but then football particularly being so popular, can solve different, actually, even we can say political, environmental, social problems. Could this be used as a force, which makes, of course, the different level? Well, nevertheless, you know yourself that all ministers of sports, we even don't have ministers of sports, we call you minister of sports, actually. Well, it's true, because you understand the topic, because in the same ministry, they should care about science, the education, they should about higher education, about space even, huh? So the sport is always like, everyone even forgets that the sport is included in this ministry's budget. So it's not about money, it's about more convincing people that talking sports language, you can talk many different social problems. Would you believe into this, at least in this room, or even when you leave this room?
Bigger rooms than we see, actually, because on that side...
Oh, right.
It's
But your
much
minister is
bigger.
not watching it, so...
Now, listen, the question you raise, I think it's the angle how we look at this topic at all. Because, of course, when we compare the role of sports and sports and youth in my responsibility, there are two areas which are like not the top priorities until today in the ministry, in the government as such. And today the voice is changing, and we start acknowledging that actually sports...
in this office
not only
recently.
me, it's not only about me, it's about people much more than me, and about change of mindset, I think.
Okay.
Because when we talk environment, when we talk sustainability, I think sports and youth policy can play very, very big role. Youth policy is about educating young people to understand better why, what, and how, in order to deliver in the future, as we see, future. But sports has a major impact, because also in the first presentation today we heard an idea that in this environment you can actually communicate much better, because in this environment those people who are there, they choose to be there. They want to be there, they want to be part of that. And I think that's the biggest power of sport, that there's a community which enjoys being there. And then it's a matter how we develop the philosophy of this community. Because currently, like you explained about sports not being the priority.
I'm sorry, but it's what I see.
That's true. Until now, that's true. The same applies to environmental sustainability or sustainability as such, because it has, at least in this culture, in this country, it has never been top priority in terms of like topic to be discussed, topic to be addressed, topic to be implemented, delivered, or whatever it is. Now it changes as well. Sometimes, or until now, mostly it changes because somebody from above, from hierarchical like point of view, said that it's important, you should address this topic. We should get to the point where it's not only when somebody from above said you should change something, It's when you from within understand that it's important. So when we come to sports environment or sports system as such, and football can play very big role in that, as biggest sport, as most resourceful sport in general, is we should think how we can change understanding of the topic. Because currently mostly what we talk is about what should we do on the level of habits and how can we do it, like talking about I don't know, drills which we can link with sustainability ideas. But what we should do is actually to talk a level above, which is the question of why. Because there's a principle, 3 words: see, do, get.
Yeah.
You know it. So do in the middle means on a daily basis, what are my actions? It's a level of habits. And if we, take a very simple example. There are times in the year, especially a little bit shortly before summertime, when many people, sometimes myself, think that actually I should get fit for summertime. So I should think about my habits, eating healthier, doing a little bit more sports, maybe even meditating or something. So I do it, summer finishes. And my intention vanished. So I get back most probably to my old habits. But if we talk level above, which is C, which is my paradigms, my beliefs, what I truly believe in. And if I believe that, for example, being healthy is not only for fit summer body, but being healthy is to enjoy my time with my kids, to be able to travel to countries with mountains rather than here in Latvia, and to be able to climb them. So it totally switches my paradigm. And then when we talk also about sustainability programs in sports, then of course what and how are important questions. But first question to ask ourselves and to talk to our stakeholders, doesn't matter kids or coaches or managers, is why it is important. Because this also as a pilot project, it's excellent to start communication, to raise awareness, and that's what we do mostly. But then the question is, when this finishes, are those people totally aware actually why we do it? Did we, because somebody gave us some intention to do that, or did we do it because we now believe and understand the impact of what we do? And if we can work on this level, firstly, starting with why, then we can not maybe guarantee, but hope at a larger scale that in a long term it will have an effect on societies. Because in many countries, different cultures, different mentalities, different ways of seeing the world and problems and issues and priorities. But if we understand why clearly and it resonates with us, then we will implement it. So also here when you ask governments, if we will be able to communicate to people in charge on governments or in organizations why it is important, then they will be able to listen, okay, we now hear it's important, then what we do and how we do it. If we start by what and how, just saying it's important, everyone talks it, you see it in the world, then it will never stick to the country, never stick to the organization, never stick to a coach, never stick to a kid. So why is very important to start with.
Now, why, but then grassroots or top down or bottom up? And I want you to come in this. We hear that to everyone this is important, but I have one kind of animal, probably it's elephant in this room. I think European Union wants you guys to do it actually for larger community, for everyone, for mummies, daddies, and grandpas, not only for coaches, for players, because football is already a positive thing, right? So everyone is smiley when they come out from, okay, some are not smiley because if your team is not winning, then that's different. But after, just a training, everyone is happy, right? You come out and you are positive. Now, how to turn this positivism, the being, football, as an example for a good life, superhero, into, really habits of society. I can remind you that in 10 years, we are going to be there where we can't be, because otherwise there is no reason to produce kids anymore. Just next generations will, die on this planet. So can football save civilization on this planet in actually no time at all. You're talking about evolution, that we should have a time. We have no time. I tell you, I was yesterday in Amazon River. I saw it. No, joking. I'm just, as a journalist, I always see these promises from the big governments, but they never fulfill. So maybe the football is going to fulfill something that governments cannot fulfill for saving the climate.
Yeah, climate is just an aspect, and it also connects to what you were saying before, why football should care about climate or other topics. But in a way, you also answered. I mean, there are several social issues. Climate is one of them. And what governments have done has been effective. No, because the temperature is going on. Because they are incompetent? No, simply because the matter is complex. And probably we need more resources. We need maybe not just the programs they implement. For example, who is in charge officially of educating people to climate change? Is there an agency that institutionally should deal with people for climate change? There isn't. Maybe we think it can be the school, but it's the school choice to do that. Who else? I mean, we have the campaigns. So the point is where the classical methods cannot arrive. Our point, I think my point is, can football, can sport, let's say, make an additional step, jump, and be another resource for society? Because of course football can be a game. You go, you play, you sign your kid to go to play, you go there to have fun, but in this way it remains a game. The point is, where is the added value for society in addition that we have fun and we are a bit more healthy if we play? So the point to me is this, and it's a choice of federation mostly more than people. Do you want to matter more in the society? Do you want maybe not to save the world but contribute to do something? Because it's the federation that rule what the coaches or the other players can do. So to me, it would be very important that sport and football, because of its relevance, is the added value for society. And here we can why the European Union should care about it. Because there are issues that you cannot solve alone, and if you have the whole world of sport played by, in Europe, hundreds of millions of people, then of course you have a much stronger weapon. But still, it's a choice if you want to do that or not. Because if we think that people are upset when they go, that they are talking about other stuff, okay, but then society remains as it is. So I think it's mostly a political choice, because if, for example, federations tell coaches, listen, this is also your task. You are here to educate people, not only to make them playing football. And if you want to send your kid or anybody to parents, here is a place where we educate them. If you don't want, this is not your place. This is a place where you have to grow as a person, because we are not growing all champions. I mean, somebody will be champions, but one out of 1,000. So I think it's not the point that a parent said, I sent for another reason. I think it's a political choice of the sport world to decide where it wants to stay. It wants to stay there in the game part, or it wants to stay where, listen, society, I can provide an help. Do you want that? So this is how I see it.
Yeah, we want to build innovative society, politicians tell, and then this is the reason why to support culture, because this kind of gives innovation. So to solve the climate, we should support sport, and then it's like a miracle. Huh? I'm just asking a question. Do you remember Romano Prodi?
No.
Oh, this guy, it's an Italian guy. He used to be a prime minister, but before he became prime minister, he was a head of European Commission in 2000, right? 2000 to 2000 something, 6 maybe. And he was a good or bad politician in Italy?
No comment.
Okay. But, what about football? If he was a good football player? Romano Prodi, if he's good at football, he was just talking, too much talking. Huh? If he was playing good football, not at all. But he used UFA. You know in which matter? They decided, and it's true, that even today, the statistics is very bad because we are smoking. Me not. What about you? Okay, good. Now, they used your power, the European Championship of the football. Romano Prodi came with a ball and did the first kick just to say, don't smoke anymore in Europe. Huh? That was a big campaign. It changed maybe 10%. People were not smoking. You were smoking before?
No, after Romano Prodi did that, I stopped.
Of course. Now, my big question is, what about this aspect of, using or even misusing UEFA to, kind of European global goals, and then there is a language football, and then if you strongly believe that this works, or this is more about, being nice persons, being good persons, being on the kind of right side of history, because it's good to be good to the climate, so it's good to be football that is climate friendly. So maybe it is just modern stuff, to talk this type of a language because it's so urgent. But actually it's not needed for football as such.
Interesting question. You can argue both ways, actually.
Yeah.
You can argue that
Absolutely.
it's not needed. You can argue that it's needed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bother with this. I'm just going to say that it has happened before. After Romano Prodi. I didn't know, for instance.
Sorry for this. I'm so old.
It's okay. Don't worry. I mean, I should know maybe, but I didn't know this. It has happened in the past 2 or 3 years. We have, for instance, UEFA has an agreement for cooperation with the European Commission,
Very good.
which states various ways in which the two institutions can collaborate on topics of importance, including climate change, sustainability, etc. One of the outputs of this agreement for cooperation was, for instance, a big communication campaign which was financed by the European Commission and implemented by UEFA. So using basically UEFA popular platform to speak about climate change, to speak about doing stuff to protect the environment. So you had like banners in the men's and women's club competitions with Green Deal, Save the Planet. This was a bit the topic, and it was also a TV ad. I don't know if you've seen it, with fans doing some stuff like turning off the lights when watching football games, and enjoying even while doing something very good for the planet. So we did this in collaboration. So it was also this ad was also shown on not only on TV but also on the big screens in the matches. We did this because again. We want to collaborate with European institutions. Why is that? It's a very good question. Obviously, it's and I can be very honest with you, is also a drag to collaborate with European institutions because they have obviously their own policies, like climate change. We have ours. Sometimes, most of the times, they coincide. So we want to collaborate so that we can create a bigger impact. Sometimes we diverge in the way it's seen. For instance, the European institutions have the impression that, not an impression, it's an image, that football has a lot of money, football means corruption, etc., etc. It has happened, of course. I don't deny this because everybody knows. So yeah, indeed, we want to protect and also to rehabilitate our image because we also do other stuff rather than being corrupt or having more money. And the money is not actually for us. It's not a for-profit institution. Is for the society and for the football family. So our purpose is double, if you want. First of all, is to protect our sport, so to build it and to create it. But second of all, we want to use also the other institutions to help us do this. Because, for instance, when the European Commission would ban specific or would create regulation which goes against football, for instance, the ban on microplastics. There are some pieces of rubber that are used in the big pitches, I mean in the pitches, and if you ban this, which has already happened, then you won't be able to play on these pitches, you have to recreate them. So if we collaborate with the European institution, it's an advocacy kind of measure, then we do things to combine policies, but also we are in the position to say, let's help each other to find a sort of a middle ground between this. So, for instance, in the ban of microplastic, we find a way to postpone, let's say, the implementation of the regulation to give us time to change basically the pitches, to replace plastic with other sustainable components, just because it was something that came from the European Union, and then the federations that are active in the European Union have to comply with this. So our scope here and our meaning is also to protect our game by also collaborating with these institutions. So it's not only about the image, but it's also to make it work for our game, because a healthy football sector can also mean giving back to the society. If the football sector is not healthy enough, then we can't give enough then. So I think it's two-way kind of sides of the same coin, in my opinion.
Now, not two ways of the coin, but two levels, or maybe 100 of levels. I want to turn your and maybe Latvian experience. Now, we've got so many levels of football federations, right? Very, very grassroots, the very, very young boys and girls, and by the way, girls as well. Huh? Let's keep this aspect since we have to involve, or they want to be involved. How should this approach that is developed by, and thank you for this actually program of self-education, how you should use it, where you should start, because you are, governing different levels. One will be a UEFA champion, and the other will be just, football player for fun with his friends back in the backyard. So how should the coaches use this differently? Because they will be different superheroes in the eyes of the players as well, right?
Okay, first, federations are indeed governing the game in their own countries. But I believe that we should make the distinction between professional clubs and the grassroots clubs. Okay. I mean, the situation is totally different, their environments are totally different. Speaking from our experience, we are very grateful for the support that we have gotten from UEFA in terms of knowledge, first of all, and then funding, because let's be fair, I mean, all activities need to be funded. Sure. And then the Erasmus Plus projects complementing our activities in this sector. Not only by meeting us with other federations and other partners outside of our football community, being able to exchange the ideas and best practices and then adapt them to our own setting, but to go to the grassroots level, because it's very, well, you can say it's very easy with professional clubs in terms of you have the licensing requirements, you include the social and environmental sustainability requirements, that's it. But the football family is a lot bigger and a lot more than just the professional clubs. It's all the grassroots clubs, it's their participants, their coaches, their fans, their parents, societies, and so on. Yep. And here I think it's like equally important the role of the federations to develop the game on pitch as well as the game off pitch. And how do you do that? It's by, well, first raising awareness, like whistleblowing, there is a problem, we need to act now. Then educating, and the methodology, for example, in future, it's a great way and a fun way to educate, because you're not sitting bored just, note taking. You're contributing with the on-pitch and then promoting it. And in the promotion, we're not speaking only about the ambassadors per se, like public figures, role models, each and every one of us who is in the football family, from the young kid to the 90-year-old supporter going to support his team, each of us can be a role model.
Now, how it works in Latvia, different levels, different, you talked about infrastructure thing. Actually, it costs quite money about this, waste management thing, about these nice visual examples, how to use the football field, this whole environment really to do a promotion job, and in all levels, not only for super visible in television. Actually, everyday habits are even more important sometimes than you show it in television.
We have to understand that answer not always easy one. Yeah, it's sometimes very complicated. It sticks together very good with what Edgar said. Yeah, why we are doing this? If our approach is to educate coaches and kids, it's quite easy to explain. For instance, we are losing the trees. What does it mean? It means air condition. It means our health. And if like coach or football society are starting to speak with players, with the kids from different point of view. For instance, if you do not care about environment, about deposit bottles, this is plastic, this means more bad air condition. So maybe if we are continuing like this, then in 10-year, 20-year period, there will be no possibility to take a professional level in football. I mean activity, intensity in training session because of very bad air condition. And if you explain like this, if we are take care about this, we can have better health. We can be stronger, not only as athletes but also in everyday life as a people, because not everybody will be the professional one. Yeah, but if we talk about concrete focus and concrete steps in Latvian Football Federation and Latvian Football Society, it is very important to have these licensing club licensing criteria quite strict, because we understand Latvian Football Federation can change every stadium in Latvia. Yes, but if we work very close together with our partners, stakeholders, and they understand how important it is, then we can change the situation in Latvian football quite fast.
So licensing should be so precise that it should include in the future the environmental requirements as a minimum standards, and could be refused to have a prolongation of the license?
For instance, every professional club have to have like a sort system in stadium, because there are 1,000 supporters or 2,000, or sometimes European Cups when comes in summer.
This is reality.
This is reality. No. This is already reality, and we are just raising up these criteria, be a little bit more stronger and more strict. But this is not only from Latvian Federation, and this explanation why it's so important. It also comes from UEFA, and it's from It is not just open the stadium and do what you want there. Yeah, there is a criteria which you have to follow. And only then you can open the stadium for instance, European Cup games. Yes,
which technically means that this is exactly language which should be used now to promote it outside. So for me, not a football fan, sorry, this was the first time when I hear it. So you can be a role model for, can you enter the whole ministries of Latvia and check from the point of view of if this is possibility in reality in football fields, then why it's not in schools, kindergartens, ministries, everyone. I mean, can football now play a real super role model, not inside the football fields as well, but also, you measure the territory of cutted rainforests in Amazon River in the football fields, right? You say thousands, millions of football fields are cutted out because of having soya beans for steaks. Don't eat steaks, otherwise you will, lose. No, you can use football environment for measuring better things, not only cutting the woods, but also, can you? Do you? Will you? How will you?
We are using the carbon footprint calculator per se, and I believe it's very important because it shows us the result of our actions. I mean, currently, and this is my own personal opinion, is that it's not mandatory, but it will soon be.
Okay.
And once it is, the ones that have already gotten into the habit,
Yes.
they have passed through the message and they have seen what happens and how more efficient they can be, not only in saving the planet, but also saving your resources
Yeah, sure.
as well, let's be
In a way,
fair.
saving economy.
Yeah.
Saving the number of inflation, huh?
Well,
In a way, it's 4.5 this year in Latvia. It's too high for us, huh? We want to save economy as well.
I think that, for example, with these kind of measurements and combining together with the best practices, if we all act together as a football family and as football family stakeholders, including the government there, because you quite often mention the government.
Yeah.
The government is a big factor as well. So if we all combine our efforts, then we're headed on the right path. Are we going to succeed? It depends on us, I believe.
Yeah. Do you have good football players in your government?
In our government?
Yeah, in Bulgaria.
Well,
For us, I think no one, huh?
that's a political question, so I cannot.
Okay. What about good football players here? What about your questions? I grabbed the microphone and your comments, questions, your abstentions, your happy smiley faces, your whatever. I have an idea. Who has an idea? Question, comment, something? Disagreements. Everyone is so positive and happy. Now, what about this long term you've been referring to? Do you think the sport could be really used even for simple steps in government? Now, there is no good football player in the government so far. Should we wait for next government to have a good football player and then it turns?
It depends
I
what you
don't
define
make
by
it like
good
too
player.
political, but still there is a connection into this.
Listen, I think all the big changes require firstly understanding why we do it, as we discussed before, and secondly we should acknowledge that nothing happens like this. It will take time.
Yes.
And of course sports can play very big role, because at this moment, at least here in Latvia, we don't hear a lot about sustainability, we don't hear a lot about environment. Yes, in the last, 5 years' time, we have created a new ministry responsible for climate, which is already a step forward because it shows the priorities also of government. But on a practical level, what actually do we do as families, as football clubs, as football teams, or parents, whatever? We are not yet there to understand clearly how our daily habits influence environment, influence sustainability. So sport could be a leading partner in this role, that at least in their own environment, they could implement those small things as we discussed now. Water bottles, switching off light when you leave the office, as it was said also by showering, less
less than
which
5 minutes, not
which
more.
I should teach my kids as well, you know.
And
They
let them
think
go
it's
in not warm, the cold shower. Huh?
They should, yeah. Actually, they feel like in sauna, so they stay forever there, I think. But for sure, and actually that will be also the way. You asked, when the first question was asked, you said that here in Latvia, sport is not seen as a priority.
In a way, I feel it like this.
Yes, but if now we consider the role of sports could play, not only on the sporting field, but actually helping to achieve the goals which are important for government, not only government as such, but for our nation, for our people, they will actually change how they are perceived, how sports is perceived. By addressing issues which are not only important for people who love sport, but also which are important for general society, they will also increase their strengths, their role will be risen. So I think sport could use this as a tool also for strengthen sport itself, whichever sport like football or individual sport or whatever will take leading role. Also in the long term, they will benefit hugely. So it could be a win-win, as you say all the time, win-win situation in the long run if we understand why and how we do it properly.
Good. What about you? You guys, you are coaches yourself Too much of role for you? No? You're not coaches? No? Someone is coach? Honestly? Just to understand, too much of role for coaches. Yeah, he's a good coach, huh? Take this head off. You are now coach, the only coach. How are you gonna, live your next 6 months now with this new approach? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna approach your kids? Or you did it already? Or maybe you can explain this from the real life, and then we stop. Then we believe that you will do it. Otherwise, why should we, develop these models by scientists here if you are not doing it? How are you gonna do it?
If honest, with the kids is quite easy one, because they always love play games.
Okay.
And if you
involve
this idea and explain, for instance, even after the game, how important it is, and etc., then kids are very open. And if you show as example for yourself, if you are leaving the training session, take your bottle, for instance, and sort it, or even better, use this bottle always in every training session, then kids can follow.
Now, what about timing? So it's 90 minutes, yes, or 60 minutes?
It depends if you are.
So how many minutes out of this 1 hour you should spend for this thing? That is kind of not football.
Not too much, because kids are gathering to play football. For instance, if it is a small kid, 5 years old, it's a training session only 30 or 40 minutes. Yeah, it's small. Yeah,
okay.
And if you will discuss and explain about sustainability, environment, and climate, etc., they won't be in next training session.
Exactly.
Okay? But still, you just play games with input. And later, maybe after 2 weeks, kids, how do you think? Why did we play the games like this? Why we did gathering this bonus, etc.?
Curiosity.
I don't know. What you do at your home? Are you gathering the things around your room, or there is a mess? Yes, it's always a mess. But at the end of the day, or in the morning, it should be clean. So it's but of course there need to be educated coaches. They need to believe what they do, yes, and they have to believe that they are not only leader in football.
Let's start to play games by gaming, not only football as a game, but also taking this plastic thing there, the paper thing there, the waste waters there. And,
Ansis, by the way, this also is fun.
Yeah.
You can play and you can use these bottles for playing. It's fun.
Yeah,
but
sure.
After that, you are gathering all these things and sorting all these things. For instance, you are playing like 5 minutes with a bottle. Yeah? And after that, you are just in the end of the training session. Everybody, let's go together.
Yeah.
Let's see what we have. We have like 4 cans. Yeah, let's do plastics. Goes there where it goes.
Yeah.
And not only always say what is the answer, but ask the question. The coach, smart coaches, are usually asking the question not only about climate but only about football. Why did you pass there? What was your thinking? Yeah, this is
smart coaches. Let's vote for smart coaches. Then we're going to go.
Education is always the background of this.
Green field for football, green planet for everyone. Cool. Sounds very good. Important role. Anastasija, I want to say probably something good for us. Yeah. We are closing, but since you are a big boss here,
I was the person who started, and now I summarize.
Yeah. That's exactly your role. Please.
And personally, I believe in power of small step. So it means that if we will do like this project, we educate our coach, we speak with parents, we play with kids, in future we will get good results. And I hope that our grandchildren will live in a nice future.
Oh, yes.
So that's why I would like to say that we need to invest time and to make these small steps.
I'm so happy that our grandchildren will be more or less the same age, so they will share this vision.
Nice future.
Absolutely. Good. Let's vote for this. And thank you very much for being here, being active in this project, being active in next projects that will be not the same, but maybe similar, even better, probably in the future, because being, in a family of good friends, it's also to get this win-win thing. Not only someone should win always, both should win, environment and football, both kings. Okay, thank you. We close.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, let's go and play football.